Welcome to the FI Newscast, where we bring you relevant news in the food and beverage industry. Today is Friday, September 22nd, 2023. I'm Susan Choi, your host for this show. Today, we're going to feature our very own Brian Choi, CEO and managing partner of the Food Institute, who is going to bring us the latest on the ground from Expo East 2023. But first, let's cover some of the top stories from this week so far. We start with fresh news from the Federal Open Market Committee. The Federal Reserve is expected to put a pause on interest rate increases for the second time in a row this year. This move leaves the interest rate at a 22-year high of 5.2 to 5.5%. They also left the door open to another potential hike later this year. But Fed officials did lighten their outlook of the economy, stating that it has been growing at a, quote, solid pace. Experts predict that rates could fall to as low as 2.5% by the end of 2024. Fast food workers in California will see a higher minimum wage in April 2024. The state's restaurant industry struck a deal with worker unions, which will see wages rise to $20 per hour in the state. And a 9-person council will have authority to raise the hourly minimum wage annually through 2029 by whichever is lower, 3.5%, or the annual change in the Consumer Price Index. The National Owners Association, an independent advocacy group of more than 1,000 McDonald's owners, projects the bill will cost each restaurant in the state $250,000 annually, and that these costs, quote, simply cannot be absorbed by the business model, unquote. Restaurant business analysis of the deal found that the bill won't just affect fast food establishments, but any limited service chain with more than 60 units nationwide, including many fast casual concepts. In bankruptcy news, AeroFarms has announced they have officially emerged from their Chapter 11 filing. The microgreens producer says they have been able to successfully forge a path to profitability through restructuring their balance sheet and putting in additional funding into their flagship farm in Virginia. They have appointed a new acting CEO who will also serve as executive chairperson of the board of directors. And they will focus solely on their headquarter farm moving forward, foregoing any additional projects. The company currently sells its greens in more than 2,000 retail locations in the U.S. Over in the coffee world, Starbucks wants to make some serious headway to get your order out fast. Bloomberg came out with a feature focusing on the company's gigantic myriad of possible coffee orders and its biggest problem of order execution time. The coffee maker says they are spending billions of dollars to get your latte out much quicker. Some examples of solutions include a portable foamer that speeds up prep time and reduces traffic behind the counter, and a new bar system that can dispense milk and ice with the push of a button. No more bending over fridges. But the latter invention is still a work in progress, not expected to roll out until 2026. And finally, it's not a food product, but it's being plagued with an issue everyone is at risk of. Clorox is still working to recover from the massive cyber attack that hit them last month. The household cleaner maker says that it has been able to resume a large part of its operations since the attack, but did not say when they would be back to normal. They also cautioned that the incident would impact future earnings. This is just one of many attacks hitting big corporations recently. Caesars Entertainment Inc. had to pay millions of dollars in ransom debt after hackers broke into their computer systems. MGM Resorts International also had hacking problems of their own, causing their slot machines, websites, and reservation systems to shut down. Just another reason why everyone should be focusing on this issue of cybersecurity. You can always trust the Food Institute to bring you the latest insights on topics like this. Case in point, a podcast we recently did on best practices for the food industry to combat the threat of cybersecurity. You can listen in on our website at foodinstitute.com. And those are your top stories. I'd like to get into our next segment, which features our very own managing partner and CEO, Brian Choi, who is on the ground at Expo East, one of the country's largest natural foods shows. He got a chance to speak with Amanda Hart, lead market analyst of New Hope Network, the company that puts on shows like Expo East. They chatted all about what's currently going on in food and beverage. Let's take a look.
Hi there, this is Brian Choi, Managing Partner and CEO of the Food Institute. We're here in Philly for Expo East, a great show focused on the natural products industry. We're here with Amanda Hart, who is a researcher, does all things trends, looks at data. Amanda, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do for New Hope?
Yeah, sure. So I've always been a very passionate person to see change in the marketplace, which is how I landed at New Hope Network and in the natural products industry. I've always been a researcher, and then I pivoted to research in the natural products industry. And New Hope Network started a research component. New Hope is the organizers of Natural Products Expo East and Expo West and newhope.com and a variety of other touch points and publications. And with the expertise that we have in events and market insights, just from putting on these trade shows and engaging with so many brands through our media platforms, we decided that we have a huge opportunity to look and grow our data capabilities. So about 11 years ago, they did a startup group to bring market research expertise within New Hope Network. And so I joined about 6 years ago. We do custom research, working with brands, helping them innovate and bring new products to market, whether it's B2B research, they need pricing, they want to know how to competitively price their products or ingredients. We work with investors, CPG brands, ingredient suppliers, and then we have syndicated reports as well that we do a lot of our trend insights and tracking that we sell through our e-commerce site.
Got it. Well, great. Well, let's get straight into it. We're going to be talking about trends. You mentioned 10 in your most recent magazine. Tell us a little bit about the top trends that you're seeing this year.
Upcycling is going to be huge. We're seeing a lot of innovation there, and it's on point because it really responds to consumers that are indicating that they're going to prioritize purchasing products that are demonstrating a waste reduction commitment. And one of the levers in that space is upcycling, and where we're seeing more brands really founded on the mission to look at a different step in that supply chain, really looking in either the farm gate waste or the processing waste, and thinking of there's so much waste. A lot of it goes into a low value feed market, or it's a pollutant. And so there's a lot of really smart, curious people that are trying to figure out how to turn it into something of value.
Got it. And is that movement coming from the consumer, or is it more top down? It's coming from the company, it's coming from the governments. What's explaining this upcycling and waste reduction?
I think they're matched. So we're seeing a lot of entrepreneurs bringing it to market, and consumers are indicating that they're curious and aligned with products that are going to demonstrate they're working towards this.
Got it.
Yeah.
What about some other trends that you're seeing this year?
Yeah, brain health is a big focus. Ever since, brain health we used to talk about brain health just from an aging perspective, like, oh, I need help with memory and I don't want dementia, but that's not what brain health is anymore. Yes, there are those, that generation that wants help with memory, but brain health is more about optimization now. We see a lot of younger generations, across generations, wanting cognitive support. They want to be sharper. They want to be more nimble. They want to have better retention and memory and focus and alertness. And it makes sense because this world is jam-packed with a lot of information and noise, and you got to be on your toes to try to sift through it. And consumers are looking for products that are going to help them, as well as mitigate the stress and mood and mental swings that people experience in today's pretty rough, wild world that we're in.
Yeah. And what types of products really help with that brain function, that focus and that clarity? Can you share a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of products?
Well, it's a lot. I mean, supplements is a huge space, and then that is carrying over into functional food and beverage. And omega-3s was a big, a well-researched, big mover in the space of brain health and brain development, more so for developing brains. But we're getting into, of course, nootropics and a lot going on with mushrooms, a variety of different mushrooms for functional benefits and adaptogen formulations to cope with stress. We're seeing a lot of research in adaptogens that are stress was the primary reason, but now we're seeing a lot of results from experts that we talk to that they're also working on this more cognitive space around in the adaptogen supply.
You mentioned something very interesting about the level of stress that many consumers are facing today. I heard one really amazing quote the other day saying that sleep is the new sex, saying that consumers are really looking for that continuous sleep, that deep sleep, that REM sleep. What's causing that? So you mentioned a little bit about the deluge of data that we're currently seeing. How has the pandemic kind of been, a key component in that stress, that stress aggravation that many consumers are experiencing today? Is that a key factor?
Yeah, I think the pandemic just really exposed people to the vulnerabilities that we all have in a globalized planet, and we're all interdependent. It's stressful. People were getting laid off. People didn't have jobs. There's a whole survival mechanism. I mean, there's just a lot that happened in the pandemic, political polarization, and it just, I think it accelerated the realities that there's just a lot to sift through, and it's overwhelming. It's just really overwhelming to find a sense of balance. Right. And there's a big movement for superficial self-care, and then there's more mindful, radical, intentional self-care out there to really have empathy for your limitations, what people are able to really do. We can't do it all, and we just have to forgive ourselves. So there's, in the marketplace, we're seeing a lot of this mindfulness messaging and focus, but then we're still seeing products that also want to complement that.
Got it.
Yeah.
What are some of the other trends that you're seeing?
Healthy fats is a big one. Consumers are really still grappling with a good macronutrient intake profile, so they're looking at a good balance of fats, carbs to low sugar, and protein. Making sure you're ticking all that and incorporating more healthy fats, more fiber, more macros to really offset the carbs that we take in. And carbs aren't bad, but well, it depends on who you talk to. But
right.
I think we're seeing a little bit of a pendulum swing where consumers are realizing that carbs aren't the demon, but you can have good balanced profile of macronutrients to reduce blood sugar intake or blood sugar spikes, and then feel satiated.
I'm here with Amanda Hart, lead analyst at New Hope. Thank you for tuning in for the FI Newscast, and we will bring you more coverage, more insights, more stories here at Expo East 2023. Thanks for watching.
Our very own Brian Choi, CEO and managing partner of the Food Institute, with Amanda Hart of New Hope Network. We thank them both for their time. Before we go, we're going to take a look at what's coming up in the food industry in the coming days. On September 26th, the Conference Board releases latest data on consumer confidence. And I want to mention once again that FI is partnering with Cocina Sabrosa to provide live stream coverage of its Food and Beverage Trade Expo in Dallas, Texas from September 27th to the 28th, happening next week. We'll have interviews with key figures in the industry, as well as on-the-ground event coverage. You can go to foodinstitute.com for more information, and in an exclusive bonus, FI members can register to attend this event for free. Click on the link of the description of this newscast to find out more, or you can scan that QR code right there on the screen. And that's our show. Thanks so much for watching. A quick note, there will be no newscast next week due to our live coverage of Cocina Sabrosa, so please tune into that instead. We will be back with our newscast on October 6th. I want to remind you to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our social media channels. The support really makes a difference for us. Thanks again for watching. Have a great weekend and take care.